Hi everybody, it's Amberly Childs with Plant Joy. Sorry I couldn't be there to join you all tonight. I'm heading out of town tomorrow, but I really wanted to make sure that I, one, was here to support you in your continued journey of plant-based eating, advocacy, your journey, whatever it is. I'm in support of it. The second thing is I wanted to give you a couple cooking tips. One of my takeaways from the meeting last month was there were some questions about how to remove excess oil or how to cook without oil. And so I thought, hey, what a great opportunity to give you all a few couple tips on how to cook without oil in your plant-based diet and regimen. So here we go. So the first thing is I want to teach you how to saute without oil. What's going to happen is when you put anything on heat, anything on fire, it's going to cook. So we're going to take our onions. I've got a pan hot here. I've got onions already sliced up, ready to go. We're going to put those into our pan. It's already hot and going. And basically what I want you to think about is it's fire. It's hot. It's going to continue to cook. So we're going to let that go ahead and heat itself up. And in the meantime, I want to show you one of my favorite tools in the kitchen. And this is just a typical squirter. And what I've put in here is vegetable stock. So I have vegetable stock. You could use water. Vegetable stock's going to give it a little bit more flavor. And so this is what I use in place of oil. And so what I'm going to do is as the onions start to caramelize in the pan, I would then squirt the oil in place of, I would squirt the vegetable broth in place of the oil. You can hear it, a little bit of the sizzle in there. And so what's going to start to happen? The onions are going to caramelize. That caramelization is going to stick to the pan and it's going to look like char. It's going to look brown. We want all of that char. That is our flavor, that caramelization. So I want you to come in here and I want you to start to look nice and close. And I want you to see that brown, that char that's starting to come on top of those onions. And watch what happens. As I give it a little squirt, that char in the pan is going to that flavor is going to soak up into those onions, doing the exact same thing that oil would be doing. So we're going to let those continue to cook, and I'm going to give you the next tip. So my second tip is parchment paper. This also came up at our last class. So I've cut up some vegetables. I've taken my parchment paper. I've already laid it under my pan, and then I'm going to lay my veggies. Parchment paper comes in a simple box like this, already has a cutter on it, and it is a wax paper. So it's going to create that oil for you. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of these vegetables on this pan. There's my temperature. We're going to go ahead and throw it in the oven. Cook these for about 40 minutes, 30-40 minutes at about 400 degrees, and they're going to come out fantastic. They're going to start to wilt, and then we're going to add spices on them. The third tip I want to leave you with is applesauce. Applesauce is a fantastic substitute for oil when you're baking. So if something calls for a half a cup of oil, I want you to take a half a cup of applesauce and replace the quarter cup of oil. It's going to be a great baking substitute. It's super low in calories. And remember, when we can replace oil with water, with vegetable broth, with applesauce, it's going to reduce the calorie intake, which is going to be better. And ultimately, it's going to help prevent disease and help you live an optimal diet. So thank you so much for those wonderful tips. Additionally, I hope everybody will join us on February 17th for the first ever Plant-Based Nutrition 101 class. We're going to do a lecture and we're going to have a plant-based lunch that I'm cooking for all of you. So I hope you'll join us on February 17th for Plant-Based 101. Thanks everybody. Have a good night.